Jeremiah's back. We're on 58 or so. And we're just enjoying the river of love. I might put that song back up there, redo it. But here we are, Wan Ying, Carlos Izate, Welina, Aloha, Caribou, welcome, bienvenidos, bienvenidas, bienvenue. Welcome to everyone, wherever you are. I do not know what's going on with this Google and this search engine situation, but it appears as though the previous channel had a lot more exposure or something. Something's going on, but here's the point. The point is we're just going to rejoice. And again, I say rejoice. Let me give a sip here before we get started. Okay, Jeremiah, New Covenant. We're surrounded by Bibles here, and that's what we should be surrounded by. That's a safe zone there. But here we go. This is Jeremiah Michael Pearson with 2023 April Matrix. And we greet you in the only name given amongst men. Blessed be the rock, Hosanna, and may the God of my salvation be exalted. Save us. And that just doesn't go for those who are in trouble with Jacob. It goes for us also. Let's get going. Let's get going. We are the new covenant. We are Jeremiah here. I am. And with whom you must deal with, and that is him over there. Not I. It is he, not him. Let's get going. We are going to get involved. We have a lot of work here, and I'm going to do a few things today. I was going to go strictly to the April Matrix, but I'm going to save that. I'm going to save the April Matrix, okay? Let me get the camera right here. One more. I think that's a little better. Okay, so here we go, here we go. We greet you in the only name given. And we do everything in that name. And that shouldn't be too complicated for you out there. Everyone is not, you're not constrained or forced to learn everything in one day. The thing is that the things that are very important, you need to concentrate on. That's the key. And that's my job, to make sure that you focus on the things that are poignant, the things that are really important. And as a Bible teacher, I take that job very seriously. And bless the Lord, O my soul, and all that is within me. Bless his holy name. We're here to bless God. We're here to make Father happy, and that's our goal here. As the Master said, I always do the things that please Big Daddy, Father. So that's the goal here. And of course, when we don't do that, then we have righteous indignation when we are saved. And that is the loathing of yourself and the desire to get yourself out of your whole general Bible doctrine. That's number 2 in this ministry, which is called sound doctrine. That's general Bible doctrine. Now, I have New Covenant up here. I think I'm done with New Covenant. It is not, I repeat, it is not a category. I wanted to explain the name of this ministry, and I may make this 53. I'm not sure. I like 52, but we may make it 53, or we might replace something. But right now, it's just part of April's Matrix. April's list of subjects. Remember, a matrix is a list of subjects. That's all it is. Mathematics, English, science. That's very similar to what we're doing here with the New Covenant Matrix, which is 52 categories. I'm going to show you 7 or so, maybe 8, 7 for April. That's called the April Matrix, which means that's going to be our big focus for the month. Those 7. And we've got 3 weeks to go, and we're not really moving very fast, but that's okay because I wanted to get into what this ministry was about a little bit, because even though I have an introduction, there are new things all the time, and I want you to stay abreast of what's going on so that you can stay with the pack here. Also, it gives you an idea of where we're going, where we've been, and this is very important, that you can really broaden your mind so that you can concentrate on a lot of different things. They had a TV show in the USA in 1965 or so called Concentration. And this is what we have to employ. And when you come to Bible study and so forth, when I sit down here, I have to really think. I have to concentrate. I can't think about my dinner, and a lot of you need to do that. You need to learn to concentrate. And some of you need paper and pencil. You need to take notes down. You need to have your Bible open and stuff like that. So, some of you need to employ these techniques and these things to do, these practices, these learning practices, so that you can keep up with what's going on. Now, I'm going to bounce around a lot before we start getting into the matrix real heavy. Once we start getting into the April's matrix, which is any day now, we're going to really focus on the matrix, it's April matrix. And we'll probably do some scripture reading to show you how learning a matrix is so important, or learning and concentrating and kind of being responsible for things. And I'm going at a pace right now where all of you should be able to follow me. Some people who are really like, I don't say really like, that's a California habit. A lot of you are going to quit, and you're going to think that this is not for you. A lot of Bible study, and I'm going to contradict you. I think that you need to be open to becoming more disciplined. But I'll let that go. I've been harping on that quite a bit. Some of you out there. I don't know how many, but because we've lost most of our viewers. We lost some viewers when I switched channels, and I think they just decided to move on or whatever. But let's get to what I want to talk about today. First of all, of course, we want to greet you and just and have pleasantries and just tell you that agape is the number one category in our 52 categories, and it is probably the thing we'll talk about the most, a lot, because that is your prize, and we want to talk about our prize all the time. And I can't help but talk about my prize all the time. And it is something that I've been involved in quite a few Bible ministries in my life. I've all different kinds. One gentleman had a radio show. He was like a TV preacher, he was retired. A couple of gentlemen were country, and they were really very countryfied kind of people. They were with country western music or something. Then I had 2 Bible teachers I worked with, pastors in Los Angeles in the hood. And they were a little different than the mega preacher I worked with, who was not a mega preacher personality, but he had a very big church. And so my point is that we're here to learn different things, but my style is, it's a little more disciplined than most of these gentlemen that I worked with. They didn't have their students as Bibles, Christians who came to church. They didn't tell them that there are 52 categories in their ministry, and that's what they're going to build their Bible lessons on. So my ministry is a lot different than a lot of others, but it doesn't mean that what we have is better or worse or anything. It's all good, as they say, long as it is within the boundaries of sound doctrine. What is sound doctrine? That is the set of principles that we have here, basically. What are the rules here? What are the end times judgment day rules that we need to pay attention to, the commandments? What is delineating the royal command? How do you explain obeying the royal command and so forth? This becomes top drawer. And that's where we start, and then we go down. If you say, I want to pray for something, you need to first of all know that you need to pray and ask something that's according to the will of God. That's the first thing you learn. If you go to the bookstore, and Christian bookstores and places, they don't teach you that because it would be too simple, and they might want to sell books. That's the point. You have to ask things that are according to His will. So if I empower you to think that you're some kind of God, you're not going to ask Him for His will. You're going to make demands on reality. This is going to happen, and pretty soon you're asking for things that have nothing to do with loving the brethren. You're asking for things that do not have anything to do with you becoming a more proficient lover of mankind and God. You're not asking for it. That's where it leads. I've never seen a book in the Christian bookstore that says, I need to learn how to become a more loving person as my number one goal. It's always about getting things, owning things, being slap happy driving down the street. Well, that's not all bad. It's just that it's not good. But let's move on. I'm giving you some general Bible lessons right now. So I'm going to get into the April matrix a little later. I'm going to spend most of the month on the April matrix, don't you? Okay. And the April matrix, of course, is the 7 categories that I've taken out of 52. We're going to focus on them. We're going to do some Bible reading, and I'll show you how we can just use the 7 that we have to help us to understand our Bible study, let alone having 52. Now, we might use some of the 52, but I want to use the 7 as a groundwork. Okay? And I think that this is going to help a lot of you out. The best way to build things are slow and right. Okay? Let's get going. Now, what I want to do right now is I want to say, bless the Lord, O my soul, and all that is within me, bless His holy name. That means make Father happy. And make His name, which means save people, good. Make it happen. Make people who have hearts that are hurting, that you mend the broken heart. Okay? That's actually what Jesus' name means. God is salvation because you're not saved until your heart is mended. How can you be saved if your heart's not mended? The Spirit of the Lord is upon me. Luke chapter 4. To do what? What's the energy for? Go on cruises? Eat pudding? No. The Spirit of the Lord is upon you to preach the gospel to the poor and to heal broken hearts. In the mind of that person, help them get their mind together. That's what the name means. If I ask 80% of the Bible teachers that I run into, 70%, what the name means, they would not probably tell me what I just told you. And that's not good, people. It's not good. That's not good at all. Because people are getting away from the core values of Christianity as to what you're supposed to be focusing on as a Christian. That's very simple to understand. If you call your church a faith church, well, that's fine, but what happened to love? Why are you focusing so much on faith without mentioning love? Maybe it's because you want to have faith in God, but you don't want to love God? Is that it? Is that being revealed by you selecting that name for your church? Could be, and it probably is. In the faith church, are you looking forward to being with Jesus Christ? That's the point. Because if you're not looking forward to being with Jesus Christ, then you don't have saving faith. Because the faith is centered on you expecting to be with the Master. If I ask you or one of these TV guys, one of their minions, what is the blessed hope, which is one of the things I ask people at the gym, and there are a lot of people who obviously watch TV, and they have TV guides that they listen to who will lead them down this dark path of false Christianity and so forth. I'll ask them, what is the blessed hope? That's what I have. And they go, I don't even know what it is. And that's not good, because the hope is the key to everything. Because the love of Jesus makes you prioritize the blessed hope. That's the point. That's why Paul said, what is our chief crown of rejoicing? What are we supposed to be happy the most about around here? That's what he's saying. If you don't even know what it is, and you're not even anticipating being with the Master really at all. It doesn't mean you're not saved. It just doesn't, it's not good, is it? No. That you might be a Corinthians 13 person or something. I wanted to mention some general doctrine to you, because we're going to start really hammering home how love is so important to Christianity. And how we here, we're going to focus on it big time. The blessed hope is our crown of rejoicing. All the things that we're happy about here are a lot of things. Enlightening the eyes, rejoicing the heart, transforming the soul. That's a lot of significant stuff. Yet, at the same time, mercy is the key here. Compassion. Okay? Some of you may have been involved in some of these TV people or whatever, and you're finding out you were in the wrong place. Paul said to withdraw yourself from these places. Withdraw. That means, in American terminology, get your can out of there. That's what it means. Okay? We're a little brutal here in America, but we need to learn a little more tact, or what's the word I'm looking for? Diplomacy, or diplomatic diplomatic education or something. I don't know. Now, let's go over what we're going to do once again here in this ministry, because a lot of you are going to get lost, because we're doing a few things here. Let's talk about what we're doing here. Number one, we just finished with agape, or beauty, and love joy, and beloved. All those terms mean the same thing. That was December's, the year's last big enchilada that we had. We had a lot of time put apart, set apart for you to think about you being the beloved. We went to Solomon, Song of Solomon, which has some of the most beautiful words anyone's ever written. Solomon wasn't just a wise guy, he was awfully poetic. The way he explains how love is, agape love, Christian love and so forth, it's absolutely beautiful and monstrous. It was the perfect way to end 2022. And we're always reminding ourselves here that we're here for compassion. That's what we're here for. And we have a lot of different ways to talk about it, or for me to talk about it, and for you to listen as to how deep this agape situation is, and how being a beloved is extremely significant, and we should spend a lot of time talking about the word beloved. What does it mean to be beloved, or the beloved? What's the psychology involved here? What do I really own as the beloved? You see how significant it is. And some of you in the beauty lessons, you might want to go through the beauty lessons, because we ended the beauty lessons on beloved, and we ended the whole entire situation talking about the beautiful pictures that are now available through high definition imagery to look at a baby inside of a womb. They've never had high definition pictures of babies 50 years ago. In a womb, you couldn't see it. They had sonograms or something, I think, but they didn't have high definition pictures of babies in the womb. They call them zygotes, third trimester fetuses. I don't know any of that language at all. That's Babylonian talk. It doesn't mean you're evil if you use that language. It just means that you're probably not a born again a Christian, Christ loving person, because you're going to call a baby a baby. And we ended the 2022 talking about the beauty of these images, and then we talked about the beauty of all these high definition pictures that we take around the world now, and how beautiful they are, and how that shows you that God is into beauty, and you should pick up on that. That's the point. You should think about that actively. I don't mean just casually. I mean, get your head into this and get serious about what this is about, because a lot of it has to do with beauty. A lot of this Christianity, and I'm not going to go into it right now, but that's where we left off last year. And I was very happy to share those high definition images that you could see, and I put some of my music on there, and I don't think my music's all that hot, but it's music, and it's in time and on key, so I mean, it's just music, and mediocre at best probably, but the images are really the story. And the scriptures I shared with David talking about being born in the womb and being formed in the womb, and what a beautiful way to end 2022, talking about babies and beauty and the beauty of character, the beauty of God's character. You can see God's character when you look at beauty. And if you want to find out what it's like to be in darkness, some people are going to find out, unfortunately, because they're not going to give God His glory. They're going to be in the dark forever. And what are they going to probably miss? Light, color, design, laughter, expressions of living things that are happy. They're going to miss all of that, because they didn't have the fear of the Lord and the respect for His creation, and especially now that we have all this high definition stuff. This is really going to really hurt a lot of people, because these high definition images, especially of these babies in love in the womb, that's the name of the video, Love in the Womb, and I have a couple of lessons on that. Love in the womb. And we left off on that, and what an exciting time. Here's my point. You're responsible for what you see. That's one of the big lessons of Paul the Apostle. That's his first big lesson. Romans chapter 1 going into chapter 2. That's his first big lesson, is the accountability of people who are born, see babies and humans and design, and look out. You should be in awe of what you see. My brother, he mentioned that quite a bit, and I really thank him for that, for doing that. That's Jaybird. He used to mention that years back about That's God's creation. That's His. And I'm like, thank you for that. There's wisdom amongst many counselors. I listen to people. Brother Randolph just came over here and he was talking about accountability and no excuse, which is also from Romans. Which is also the master talking about woe to you, Chorazin. And why is it woe to them? Because of accountability. Now, I'm still basking in the beloved stuff that we read and stuff about how love is so strong and how love is the whole issue here. Many waters cannot quench the fires of love that we have for God and for our people we love. And we talk about this all the time, and I'm not going to stop talking about it. I've had people tell me that we need to talk about something else. We need to talk about faith more, because faith is the key and all this. Well, these are people who are having problems. Let me tell you why. Because we do talk about faith here, but faith is not the greatest thing. These three abide: faith, hope, and love. And what's the greatest? Paul said. They're basically telling me that faith is the greatest, and that means that they're twisted. I named my church Faith Church. What's going to happen to your church when the Lord comes? Because the Bible says there's no more faith in the rapture or in heaven. Okay, if there's no more faith in heaven, why are you focusing on something that's going to disappear? When love is not going anywhere. I'm going to move on. I'm getting on some general doctrine, but I wanted to teach on some general doctrine today because I had something in my head and I wanted to share with you. And I wanted to go through the hymn list today, but I'm going to let that go. I'll give you an example of what we're going to do about the hymn list because I do want to get into the matrix for April because it's already the 8th or so. But we will bounce around. We will bounce around a little bit because I put the rapture in with the general matrix, even though it doesn't belong in there. It's not one of the 7 categories that we're focusing on. The reason why, because the rapture is always part of the lesson for the month, always. Agape, the rapture, they are always a part of the lesson. It'll interrupt the categories that we're focusing on. Why? Because it's so imminent right now. That's what we're looking for. In any moment now, you'll hear the shout of the archangel, the trump of God, and you Christians out there, you're going to be out of here. And there's no more bad presidents or bad this or bad governors or people who are destroying America and all this stuff. A lot of people have a right to be angry about. And they have a right to be angry. But we don't let the sun go down on our anger. I don't do that. In other words, get over it, and it's okay to be angry. Just don't sin. And anger can't really work out the will of God, so it can be very dangerous. So look out. Jeremiah is on fire, and I wanted to give you a little bit for those of you who just came along. That last year in December and November was one of the most exciting times in the history of my life pertaining to all those high definition pictures of the babies and stuff in the womb and Solomon going back over how love is so strong and so wonderful and talking about this stuff. The beauty of these new images and high definition pictures from around the world and castles and oceans and Greece. I was really impressed with Greece and so forth. Carlos Earthate. Which is another, they know how to say agape, or however you pronounce it. And my Greek friends, I apologize for not necessarily having the right accent in the right place, okay? But anyway, it's been a wonderful time doing all of this. God's creation is a part of our experience. Beauty, trees, water, especially babies. I close with babies because that is the most beautiful of all the creations. And of course, we the name of the videos of the video. And I think I have a second one I'm going to put up, but it's love in the womb, and how appropriate or beneficial it was to find those high definition pictures. And then add David's scriptures. David's an absolutely amazing person. He is absolutely amazing. He talks about science of babies, of God's abilities to know the future. God formed you in your mother. He goes through it in detail. He's the man. You can study that gentleman for 30 years. Well, you put me together in the womb, and I'm paraphrasing him, but my point is that we went through that, and I'm going to have to put up that video. I'm going to do that video again because I wanted to get the words to David and all of this being formed in the womb. I wanted it to be slow, and I wanted it to be deliberate, and so you can receive it. I checked my video after I loaded it, and it was too quick. They were flashing the words. I want David's words and the words that pertain to love in the womb. I want them to be slow and deliberate. That's what I want. I have to do that again. I don't want you rushing over the scriptures when David talks about how Brother David talks about being formed in the womb and God is loving you in the womb. All this wonderful stuff. I'm not done with love in the womb, or beloved, or love joy. I put that stuff down in December and November, so we're going to review that stuff, all that beautiful stuff. That's what I'm doing right now. I'll be right back with the next video. Shalom.